Koenigsegg has made some of the craziest cars of all time. Yes, of course, there's the Koenigsegg Jesko, the Koenigsegg Gamera, and also the classics like the original Koenigsegg CC. But there's one that stands out above the rest, and that has to be the Koenigsegg 1:1, which is the insane 1:1 power to weight ratio hypercar built by Koenigsegg. You might be thinking I'll get a 1.5 or maybe a 2:1 power to weight ratio car. No, we're gonna go even higher than that. The goal is at least 2.5:1 power to weight ratio. So in front of us is this absolutely tiny hypercar LM style body. It's actually got a 102-inch wheelbase, which is quite small. It's going to be carbon fiber, monocoque, carbon fiber, mid-mounted longitudinal pushrod, and we're just going to yoink this up to plus 15. New engine, this is going to be a very simple V16 magnesium 5-valve per cylinder ALSI plus 15. It's going to be an 8-liter engine, which sounds honestly totally fine by me. The highest compression, the highest count profile, quite high springs and lifters. Maybe not the highest for that, but quite high. It's going to have an 11,000 RPM redline, plus 15 quality. No turbos here needed. Have quite large manifold size, plus 15 quality with direct injection race intake. The exhaust is actually going to be quite small. Tubular race, it's going to be 63 on the header size. Dual exhaust, 3¼ inch exhaust size. Nothing. So right off the bat here, we are making a whopping 3,900 horsepower. Of course, the engine's running literally off nitromethane, so it's gonna be pretty insane. But this thing makes like twice the power of a Bugatti Chiron, more than twice the power of a Bugatti Chiron. It's gonna be rear-wheel drive with a 6-speed semi-auto transmission, so a single automated manual. Top speed about 500 kilometers an hour. Can have decent spacing here, so it's got a decent acceleration. That's 22 actually. We'll keep this all the same. Radial semi-slicks. 345s in the rear. I want a little bigger though, maybe. And 265s in the front. Carbon fiber wheels. It's gonna be a 1-seat, no entertainment, highest quality. Rack and pinion manual steering, which sounds abysmal, and it's gonna be absolutely insane to drive. But it's going to be, of course, lighter, and that's exactly what we want here. We want the lowest safety possible. I think high quality for traction aids is fine as well. Let's go for lightweight front bias, which I don't think actually does anything, but it's going to be standard twist, just semi-active and passive, I think, just so it's the lightest possible. So 2,287 pounds, which is basically Mazda Miata weights, except we have 4,000 horsepower, obviously. Increase the quality, actually. So power to weight ratio right off the hop, 2.58 to 1 kilowatt to kilogram. So we have 2.5 times the power to weight ratio as a Koenigsegg 1:1 with a similar 0 to 60 actually, which is pretty nuts. The car has severe wheel spin issues. That's totally fine, guys. Right now it looks pretty jank with the ride height and the wheel fitment, but we're going to go ahead and probably fix that later on. So what we're going to do, guys, is design this car in a quick time lapse, and then we're going to hop into BeamNG Drive, and we're going to see just how insane this thing is. So sit back, relax, guys, and enjoy. So now we are starting the build for my LM style kind of hypercar 2.5 to 1 power to ratio. The first thing we're doing is the front end, the grills of the car. We've of course changed the color to red already. We're going to start chipping out the headlights, which we'll come back to later on throughout the build itself. They're going to be sort of a rectangular, blocky kind of shape. Adding now on a big air intake going to the back of the car, a big old-fashioned wing. And the next thing we're going to do now is change the wheels to a nice 6-spoke design. Just for now, I might change it later on. I'm not too sure yet. Now adding some mirrors to the car and just working on the headlight just a little bit more before I'm getting a bigger idea of what I actually want for the car. Next up is going to be a wiper, and again working on that front air intake just a bit more, adding some more details here and there to make it look that much more perfect, obviously, adding more details up top and back onto the air intake. Now onto the side of the car, adding some detailing there, making a double wing, and I might actually change that more on later on, adding a nice lip in the front of the car because it needs more downforce, making these very pixely headlights, which kind of remind me of a Hyundai, but I think it looks pretty cool on this LM hypercar body. They're pretty much finished now with a LED bar and some LED pixels, adding a badge on the front saying Serato because it's the name of the car. We're adding a bit of a hood indentation, a bit of hood details here and there with a hood scoop. Now onto a absolutely massive rear diffuser. This thing is going to be so big. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do with the exhaust. Still working on the back end now, adding some spots for the taillights, adding some spots just for some grills in the back, adding, of course, these pixel style taillights to the rear of the car as well, similar to the front, with a huge light bar with multiple layers. Kind of weird looking, but I think it's kind of cool. Realistic, I don't know. Adding twin exhausts out the top back of the car. And in front of us is the 2020 Serato 2.5 to 1. Alright guys, so we're finally in BeamNG Drive with the Serato 2.51. So I want to see how good this thing is in a drag race. I also want to do a top speed test, and maybe we'll do a track test as well. So this thing obviously is pretty crazy. It's got 4,000 horsepower, which is nuts, and it's rear wheel drive, which is also quite nuts. So we're going to do a drag race, see how it does. It's definitely going to do like in the 7s and 6s because it's going to be quite quick. Alright, so we're spinning through the first 3 gears. Oh my god. We're gonna restart that. It's just spinning in third. A third gear launch and spinning. Already at 400 kilometers an hour and a 6. And I did a few previous tests getting up to 6 seconds in the quarter mile, which is so crazy. This thing is definitely a little bit quicker than the Koenigsegg One. So in the Koenigsegg One, 0 to 400 was 20 seconds, and back down to 0 was another 10 seconds. So 30 seconds, 0 to 400 to 0. I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to see what we can do here. It's definitely going to be faster because we've got a way higher power to weight ratio. One thing I did notice, actually, is the car's brakes can't actually stop the car. We got too much torque, so we need to put it in neutral to actually stop the car. So if we're in drive, it goes. We're going to launch it like this, so we're going to launch it in drive and go to, I think, top speed. And then back down. So we might actually go over 400, and then we'll go back down to 0 and see how long that takes.
Two hours later.
So a little bit easier on the throttle now. So 10 seconds, we're at 400 already. Now we're full speed. My foot is to the floor now. 420. That's about top speed it looks like. Now we're going to brake here. So that's about 24 seconds. If we actually tried it again, we'd probably get around 20 seconds, I'm guessing, 0 to 400 to 0. So definitely a little bit quicker than the Koenigsegg. And the top speed of 420 kilometers an hour is pretty gosh darn fast as well. I don't know if that's faster than the Koenigsegg, but it's definitely faster than basically everything else on the road, guys. Let's be honest. All right, so now we're going to jump into the automation test track. This is the full race circuit. We're going to see what kind of time we can get. I think 1 minute 40 is my all-time best. Under 2 minutes is pretty good. Obviously, they aren't like amazing times. That's because I'm not the best driver. We're going to go ahead and do our best. I'm going to go into... Can we go into like a different camera angle? Like this, maybe? Okay, wow, that's not going to work. All right, normal camera angle it is, I guess. I could have changed the camera, but that's okay. Oh, no. It's too powerful. This thing needs to be all-wheel drive to be a good track car, to be honest. To be, like, comfortable. Oh, wow. This surface is just not good enough. The brakes are really good, though. I'm only using 10% of the throttle, to be honest. That's all we really need. Like, this is crazy. I think if we had all-wheel drive, I'd be a bit more confident in this thing, but like right now, it's terrifying. Oh, it's so scary. Okay. Speed on here. Ooh, it's quite stable at high speeds, but like anything could set this thing off, I feel like. I've never ever been more tense driving a car than I am right now, to be honest. Oh no! Almost crashed. Its traction at low speeds is just unbelievably terrible. We have 395 with tires, and it just can't even grip at all. This thing has mega downforce, so maybe it has too much downforce is the problem. No! All right, so I've made one change. The car is now all-wheel drive. Oh, we started the lap before the timer went off. That's okay. We're gonna restart that now. So it's now all-wheel drive. Nothing else has changed. The power-to-weight ratio went down to 2.3, which is still obviously, pretty gosh darn good. But I just want to see if it handles, better with all-wheel drive. I mean, it's still gonna be a little sketchy because, low speeds, not much power when tires are spinning. It's so terrifying to drive at like 400 kilometers an hour on that curve. All right, so first actual lap that wasn't atrocious in a 1:38.6. This car is definitely in the low 130s capable, maybe even sub 130. Obviously, I almost came to a stop several times, but like this thing is just insanity. It's just absolute insanity. All right, so I thought we'd try the drag strip again, this time with the all-wheel drive version because this thing might be quicker. On the drag strip, I'm not actually sure. Put it into realistic driving and launch in second again, third. Okay. So definitely launches a bit worse. It bogs down in third. We could start it maybe in second now. I don't think it launches better. Well, actually, I think it's actually better rear-wheel drive. 6.5. I don't know if we can actually... Maybe we'll try it in first. That was a good one, though. 6.4. I think the rear-wheel drive is better, which is pretty crazy. The brakes of this thing are just insane too. Absolute insanity brake-wise. So there's one thing I've learned is that making a car with 2.5 power-to-weight ratio, it makes it basically insanity. This thing is probably one of the quickest cars I've ever made, ever. Not only in a straight line, but also around a track as well. Not because it's the best to drive, because it's terrifying to drive, but because it's just got so much grip and so much power that you could just crush lap times. If I was a skilled driver, we could probably crush some actual records here. I think this could beat any record on the Nürburgring, unless it's like an actual race car. I think this could do like a 5-minute Nordschleife time, maybe a 6-minute Nordschleife time, something around there, 5-6 minutes, so like quite a fast time. Maybe I could try that in the future. If you guys want to see some more automation builds, let me know in the comments down below. I will be doing some more in the future. I can't tell you when, but more will be coming. More videos in general will be coming slowly but surely, guys. I've been really busy with IRL stuff. Again, guys, so thank you so much for watching. And of course, as always, I'll see you next time.